Well, hello and welcome to another This OMG Fishing Fly Tying video. Today we are going to keep with our theme and keep it simple, and we're going to tie the black-nosed dace. Now this fly is a pretty simple tie, pretty effective minnow pattern, and today we're going to tie it on a number 4 streamer hook. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I tend to flatten the eye of the hook. A lot of times it slopes down. I just prefer to have it straightened out, so I just put it in my vise, give it a quick little squeeze, and that straightens it out. Make sure that you don't do it all at once, because you end up snapping the eye off. If you do it slowly, it doesn't put as much stress on the metal, and it tends to straighten out a little bit easier without breaking. So some of the things that I'm going to use today to tie this fly are bucktail. So we have bucktail in white and natural. I have bucktail in black, and for the tail you can use either yarn or some red feather. This is saddle or schlappen. I'm going to use just a bit of the yarn here because it helps me build up a bit of the body on the fly. I'm going to use flat silver tinsel. I've got some silver ribbing as well. I've got black uni thread. I've got head cement, the trusty whip finisher, and a pair of scissors. And that's all you're going to need to tie this fly. So stay tuned, and we'll get tying the black-nosed dace. Okay, so we have a hook in the vise, and now I'm just going to tie in a thread base. I'm just going to take this back to about where, cut this little tag end off here. Then I'll take this back to where I'm going to tie in my tag. I kind of like to build this fly in layers. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So I'm going to use red thread for the tag. I'm just going to cut a piece off. And I'm just going to tie it onto the hook. I'm going to start up here and tie it down to where I figure it'll sit, and to make a little loop here. And this loop will be right where I want that tag to sit. And then I'm going to try and tie the thread into the other side as I cup it. The reason that I'm doing that is it tends to balance out the body of the fly. Because sometimes if you're just trying to tie your tinsel on here, it's too skinny when you just tie it directly onto the hook. So we've got the tag tied in. I'm going to take the ribbing. I'm not going to tie the ribbing all the way up and down. I'm just going to tie this on the end because it's really super thin. So I'll just take that, tie that in, let it sit there. Take it back up. Get some tinsel now. Put the tinsel on. This tinsel comes in, you can get it straight silver, you get straight gold, or you can get this here that has silver on one side and gold on the other. And that's in case if you want to change this fly and put a gold body on it, you can. And I'm just going to take this and bring it back to where our tag is, and then come right back up to where I think I'm going to start tying in my wings. So I think that's good. So I'm just going to wrap the shank here and try and keep this as clean as possible. Just try and make sure that you don't put any gaps in it. Up to where the tie-in point is. Sorry, get that piece off. Come in with the ribbing. And I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to what the spacing on the ribbing is, or even if you really truly need it. I'm hoping that a fish isn't going to inspect it that closely. And just traditionally, that's how this fly is tied, so that's how I'm going to try and replicate it. Bring it up to where we're going to tie the fur in. Cut that off. Smooth that out. Now you could put some glue on there if you wanted to. That'd be quite alright. And now we're going to start with the body. So I'm going to take some white deer hair, tail hair. You don't need a lot of this. You just need enough to really get your point across with what you're doing with this fly. If you put too much in, it's not the end of the world. It just makes your fly a lot bulkier in the water. Makes the head of it a lot larger than you'd want. So you just want to make sure that you have the right amount on here. And just pull out all the under fluff. Get rid of any weirdly pointing hairs. Yes, you know, a little bit past where your tag end is going to go is probably quite sufficient with this. Okay. Put it where you want it. Get some loose wraps to start. Take a look. Make sure, sorry, I keep sticking my hand in front here. Make sure that everything sits on top. Once you're happy with that, cinch it in there. That'll be good. So then your next color is going to be the black. And again, you need pretty much the same amount. Just, I don't even know, 1/8 of an inch. Take out all the underfur that you don't need. If you leave the underfur in, it tends to make the head of your fly bulky. So you want to get rid of as much of that as you can. You just don't want if the head of the fly is too big, your fly won't swim properly. And it'll look a little odd in the water. So, you know, somewhere similar to what you have with the white. Loose wrap. Get a little tight in there. Make sure you're still mostly on top. Bring that in. Clean it up. Now you can also come in, if you want, and add a bit of crystal flash. You can run that in through here. Give yourself a lateral line to your fly. It's up to you. It's not quite the traditional way of tying it, but I find that sometimes that extra little bit of flash gets your fly noticed. So the next amount of fur, the next fur that we're going to tie on, is just the natural brown fur on the bucktail. Don't need a lot of it. Just going to measure that out. It can start to come in towards the head a little bit at this point. It doesn't have to be really long. You can either bring it in or tie it even. I tend to not want it to go past what I've already done. So let's just make sure that we've got everything in the proper layers. And now we'll just get everything together. Clean it all up. Get this head to have a little bit of bulk to it. And the only reason I say a little bit of bulk, because a lot of the times this is tied with some eyes on it. So you can paint eyes on it if you want, or you can just leave it. I'm just going to try and make that a little bit more presentable. Alright. Come in, we can whip finish that. If I can learn how to use a whip finisher. There we go. And I wouldn't use too heavy a thread on this. 3/0 is probably perfect. 6/0 if you want to keep the bulk down a little bit. And then that's that. Come in, we'll lift up feathers. Cut out that tag end. And now you can change the length of that tag. Just get your head cement on there, and there you go. Easy peasy fly. You can tie it on a 2/0 hook, 4, 6, whatever size you want, whatever size of bait. You can do this bigger if you wanted, providing your deer hair can accommodate that. So I hope you enjoyed this fly tying seminar, and thanks for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. If you could hit the like button on this, subscribe would be great. Hit the bell. All good things are with the bell, and you'll be able to see some more of my videos. And remember to take the time, get out, do some fishing, enjoy yourself, take a kid out, practice CPR, catch, photo, release. And thanks again for joining me on this fly tying adventure. Take care. Bye-bye.
That's what I'm talking about right there.